Hello. In the Python programming course, in the last session, we talked about the enumerate function. Iterative structures we have discussed in the very beginning. Then in the last session, we talked about the enumeration function. Then we were talking about the list data type, in which the list comprehensions, how to provide a concise way of creating list, the various examples we discussed. In this video, we are going to talk about the different list methods available. One of the methods of list is used for sorting the list alphanumerically. By default, it will be doing the ascending order of sorting, and it is also case sensitive. These examples show you like how the sorting can be done. So you simply assign the values to your list and just invoke the sort method, and these values will be sorted, and remember it is case sensitive. Or if you are having a numeric values, you can assign it to list 1. This is a small l, it is not capital L, and this list 1 dot sort can be done. And if you want to do it in the descending order, right, by default the sorting will be done in the ascending order. If you want to do it in the descending order, you have to give this argument to the sort method, like reverse equal to true. So if you give reverse equal to true, it will be sorting the given list values in the descending order. Another method is the reverse method. It is used for reversing the order of the list items. So if I have a list declared like this, I can give my list dot reverse. It will be reversing the list. So you will have 10, 20, 30, 40 in the given list, which will be reversed to 40, 30, 20, 10. That is the reverse method. Then we have copy method, which is used for copying a list with the copy method. If you want to create a new list, right? So this is my earlier list, and I want to create a new list using the copy method. You can simply say my list dot copy is equal, then all the elements will be copied here. And we had also discussed like using the list method, how we can create a new list from the existing list. So this is another way of copying a list. You simply say list of my list, which will be creating a new list and assigned to my list. Okay. Then we have joining the list. We can join, or you call it as concatenation. 2 or more lists can be joined by having the addition operator, plus operator. You add these two will be joined or concatenated, and the new list will be created here. Or you can use this code also, right? So observe, this is a for loop, and this is given as indentation. So for x in list 2, it will be appended to list 1. Or you can have list 1 dot extend method, which is used for concatenating or joining 2 different lists. If you want to have more lists, that can also be done. Okay. So before we get into these methods, let us see these examples so that it will be more clear for you. Let me open a new one. Okay, so let us copy this code. This is list 1. Okay, so after sorting, let us print the list 1. Then again after sorting, let us see how it is getting printed. Then Yes, you have to comment, right? You can comment it like this. Okay, again if you want you can print the reverse order. And one more thing that we can do is let us give alpha numeric values. Okay, so that it will be more clear for you, like it is going to do the sorting in the. I am going to give a here, then I give 1 2 3, then I am going to give A12, then let me give 2 3 4, and I give 4 3 5. Okay, so let us see what happens. Now let me run the program. It will ask me to save, so let me say test2. I save it. Okay, it is not supported between int or string. Line number 19. Okay, so this point should also be noted here. When I am going to sort integer and string, then it is going to give you an error. So let me convert this also into a string. I'm going to convert this also into a string. So let us have z here and let us see what happens. Yes, now it is working. Okay, yeah, we have to print this list also. So I'm printing it. Great. Yeah, so now you can observe what is the output. And the point to be noted here is when you are going to sort, when you are going to invoke the sort method, all the elements should be of same type. But you can observe here when it is sorting the strings, and inside the string if you have the digits, and it is going to sort it according to alphanumeric sorting, so that 1 2 3 is having the lower the lesser Unicode value comparing to A or Z. So that is why we are having it this way. So even when it is sorting these two values, you can observe A is considered same, but 1 and A, if you consider, 1 is having a lesser Unicode value comparing to A. So that is why it is having in this particular order. Okay, so this is a simple example that shows how the sorting can be done. Then let us go for reversing also. So I just copy the code and I am going to print my list, my underscore list. Okay, so I run the code, clear the console, run the code. So you get reversed order 40 30 20 10. Then copying, both the copy we can do here. I'm going to copy this also. So you will have both working, and I think this you can understand easily. Okay, so when you run the code again, you will get the copy of my underscore list is copied to my list. So you get in both the ways you can copy. Then let us just check the concatenation also. So I am going to create new list which is equal to my list plus my underscore list. Okay, let us print it. New list. I'm going to run the code again. I run the code. You can see 40 30 20 10 is your my list now. Then again another set of list is added here, which contains again 40, 30, 20, 10. Okay, so the same happens for this. This is simply an appending, and let us just try this extend also. If you want to have, yeah, let us have new list equal to list1 dot extend. Yeah, automatically it comes. That is the beauty of our IDE. So you need not remember all the commands or methods, arguments, etc. It will show you like what are the available methods for each and every object. So it will be easy for you to work with the IDE. So let me clear the console. I run the code again, and list1 is list underscore 1 dot extend my list1 dot extend my list. It is not extending. Okay, so it gives you an none value, right? It is not extending. Let us check why it is not extending. Maybe list1 is having strings and this is having integers. So let us put it this way. I'm going to use my list itself, which is having integers. Let us try again. Yeah, now also it is not extending. So extend is not working with the list arguments. Okay, so it is going to give you the none value. Okay, so let us have extend for extending more than one. Yeah, oh, I'm sorry, yeah, instead of new list, let me give my list now, my underscore list. Let me try. Yeah, so this is what I have to do. Actually, when I'm using joining by the plus operator, it creates a new list and it is stored here. But whereas when I use the extend method, remember extend method will be adding the elements of this list only to this, and it is not going to create a new list. That is why when I gave new list, I will show you if you want that also. When I gave new list equal to, new list was not created. Okay, that is why I was getting print new list. Okay, I was getting none earlier, right? So when I run, okay, that means this extend method is not returning a new object, new list object. Instead, it is extending the elements of this into my list itself. So that is why my list got extended with these 4 values, but new list is having only none value because it is not created, right? So these are the points that you have to remember when you use the joining method. Now so this is the one which we discussed. So apart from the other methods, we have other methods for a list like append, clear, copy, count, extend, index, etc. So in which append is very easy for you. You can we had seen it in our example also. The append method, it is going to add an element at the end of the list, right? So it's simple. So if you are going to say if you want I will show you that in the my list. I am going to append my underscore list dot append. Yes, as I told you, it prompt automatically. I am going to append 100, and then I am going to print it. Okay, so when I run, you can see 100 is appended here. Okay, so it is going to simply add an element at the end of the list. Clear, obviously it is going to remove all the elements from the list. And copy, we had seen just now the example how it is returning copy of the list. And count is the one which is going to return the number of elements with the specified value. Okay, if I give x is equal to list1 dot count 23, then how many times 23 is repeated in list 1? That is what it shows. So that is why it says it returns the number of elements with the specified value. If you give a value here, how many times this value appears in the list will be given. If you don't give, it is going to give you the total length. So generally we will use the len function also to count the length of the list. Okay, so count is generally used for counting number of elements with the specified value, right? How many elements are there with the specified value, count can be used. And if you want to find how many elements are there in the list, you can use the len function. Then extend, we had just now seen how extend works. It add all the elements of a list to the end of the current list, right? Extend adds the elements of a list to the end of the current list. And index is the one which is going to return the index of the first element with the specified value, right? So if I give like this, in the list 1, what is the index of the first element, which is equivalent to 49, So for example, I have 30, let us consider 30. So 30 appears 2 times in this list, right? In my list 30 appears 2 times. So the first index, this is index 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. So it appears in index 1 and then it appears in index 4, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in index 5. Okay, so if I am going to print the list, my underscore list dot index of what I want, the index of 30. So it is going to print, okay, so it gives 1. That means the first occurrence of 30. Index of first occurrence of 30 will be displayed here. Okay, that is what it says. It returns the index of the first element or the first occurrence with the specified value. And insert, it adds an element at the specified position. So in your list you want to add 200 at position 3, then it will be inserted. Pop, it will be removing the element at the specified position. So it is going to remove the element at position number 3, at index number 3, and it removes the item with the specified value, right? So here it is going, in pop it is going to use the index for removing, whereas remove will be removing the specified value. So it removes a value 49 from the list here, whereas here it removes the element which is at index 3. And then we have reverse, which we had just now seen the example of reversing. Sorting will be sorting the list, right? So these are the different methods available for the list. Then we have some built-in functions also for the list. len, as I told, it will find the total length of the list, how many number of elements are there in the list. Then maximum value from the list, minimum value from the list can be got from this function. Then we have another interesting function called map function. It is going to return a map object. Map object will be generally an iterator of the result after applying the given function, right? So two arguments will be giving. One will be the function. The first argument will be a function to which the items will be manipulated, and the items to be manipulated will be available in the sequence, which is nothing but an iterable, like list, tuple, etc. So fun is a function to which map passes each element of given iterable, whereas sequence, it is an iterable which is to be mapped. Okay, so let us see an example, then it will be more clear for you. And you can observe here I am declaring a list of strings, Then I am using the map function. I am using the map function, and here the first argument must be a function, right? So it must be a function. It must be a function. So I give list as a function name. Then I am going to give an iterable. It must be a collection. So I am giving a collection of strings here. So what happens here when I give the items will be mapped to this function, and each item here will be mapped to this particular function. That means manipulated by this function. So you can see here the first string is SAT. The first string SAT will be given to this function. So what it will do, SAT word will be separated into a list of characters, right? So SAT will come as list of characters here, right? The second word is bat. So the second word will be given to the list function. So it will be creating a list with the word BAT. In the same way, we can also have a separate user defined function. So we will be discussing how to define a function later, but this is how we will be defining a function. So just understand, double is a function to double a number. I give an argument n and it will be giving you n plus n, right? So it doubles the number. Now how do I use the map function here? The map function will be invoked. The first argument will be a function name. What is the function name I am going to use? Double is the function name, and this is an iterable, a sequence which is going to be a list of, or let me say here it is tuple. So it contains 4 numbers. So what it does, each number from this tuple will be taken and that will be manipulated with this function. So what happens, first number will be taken, 1 will be doubled, so it gives 2, and 2 will be doubled again, 3 will be doubled again, 4 will be doubled again, right? So that will be the resultant value of this map function. Again I am going to display it using the list method. Okay. So this is how map method works. So this is again a shortcut way of creating a list, tuple, etc. for a list of values. Then the list can also be used as a stack, and it can also be used as a queue also, right? So I think you can recollect the programs you have written for creating a stack data structure and queue data structure using C and C++ program. So you have written around 50 to 60 lines of codes for creating a stack class or a queue class, right? Insert method, delete method, then push method, pop method of stack, defining a data structure, etc., right? But in Python, using list, you can have stack in just 4 or 5 lines is enough for creating a stack. Okay, so if you want to have the list as stack, you know that it is a FIFO data structure, first in first out data structure. You can simply use the append and pop method. So this is how we will be creating a list, and if you want to push an element to this stack, you can have stack dot append, so it will be pushing the element to the stack. And if you want to pop an element from the stack, you can use the pop method. Okay, it removes the first element from the stack. Okay, so this is an example of how list can be used as a stack using append and pop method. This is how we declare the stack, and you are going to print it, right? So I declare the stack, which is nothing but a list here. Okay, I just give it the name as stack. So this is a list and I am displaying it, I am printing it. Okay, then I am appending. So that means you are going to push an element to the stack. So you are going to push the element to the stack by appending. Then after appending, you will get the element here. Okay, then if you want to pop, you just use the pop method, and the stack after popping will be this one, 7 will be popped out, right? So it will be, this will be the top of the stack always, right? End of the stack will be the top of the stack. So there you can push the element and you can pop the element. So your stack is now having 1, 2, 3, 4. This is how it comes, right? The bottom of the stack will be 1, then above that you will have 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So whichever element you want to push on the top, you just use your append method. Whichever element you want to pop, that will be popped from the top of the stack, which is going to be end of the list. So end of the list will be treated as the top of the stack. So there you push using the append method, pop using the pop method, right? So this is one simple example you can use for how list can be used as a stack. The same way, list can also be used as queues, but it is not going to use your simple append and pop method. Of course, append and pop are used for inserting and deleting, but you are not going to create it as a simple list. Instead, we are going to use a module called collections module, right? It's a package or it's a collection, it's a module which you have to import in your program. In your Python program, you have to use this collections module, and in that you have a package called DQ, which is designed to have fast appending and popping from both the ends, right? Double-ended queue. All of you know what is a double-ended queue. You might have studied in your data structure course. So how your DQ can be created, how to insert it, how to delete an element, all those things you have created as a separate program based on object-oriented approach, right? Instead of writing this many number of lines of codes, like around 50-60 lines of codes, you're going to simply create a queue just by having these 3 lines. You can create a queue. If you want to create a queue, just use your method called DQ and create a queue. And if you want to insert, use your append method. If you want to delete, you are going to delete with pop left. If you simply give pop, it is going to delete from the right, but by the time it will act as a stack. So if you want to have it as a queue, what do? You simply use pop left method, then it will be deleting from the left. So this is an example queue created with a DQ method. So if you want to use the DQ method, you have to use this particular statement from collections import DQ, right? Collections is a module. From this module, you are going to import DQ, right? So then DQ can be used here. This is the keyword you are going to use. Then you are going to print the queue. And if you want to insert, you just use your append method. If you want to delete, you just use your pop left method. Okay, so you can also observe what is the output generated by this code segment that represents the queue implementation using the list. But here we are not going to use simple list. Instead, we are going to use a DQ method for creating the list and how this list is used as a queue. Right, so that is what is represented here. Okay, so I think with that we are completing all the concepts and the syntax, methods, functions, etc. that are used in the list data type. So we will be discussing the dictionary data type in our next session. Thank you.